The United States Smash is just around the corner and there are so many storylines surrounding it. I'm going to get into basically all of them, starting on the women's side and then moving to the men's side. I think the biggest thing on the women's side is that Sun Ying-sha and Wang Manyu have something to prove. Neither player made it to the quarterfinals of the last US Smash, and it's also worth noting that neither player made it to the semifinals of the last Champions event. It's not like they're having some sort of huge decline or anything, but they still do have something to prove. And speaking of having something to prove, this is a big tournament for Miwa Harimoto. Miwa is coming into this tournament off a win against Wang Manyu, off a win against Zhu Ling, and also off winning her first Champions title just a few months ago. I mean, all of the momentum is in her favor right now, but she needs to prove herself. Obviously her win in Champions Chongqing was a big stepping stone, but getting a title in a tournament where she beats Wang Manyu or where she beats Sun Ying-sha would be the next step. Right now, especially considering recent results, I feel like Miwa Harimoto has sort of cemented her spot as the best young player, but she's looking to break out of that role and build her way towards getting closer to Sun Ying-sha and Wang Manyu, whereas players like Chen Yi and Guai Man are looking to rival that role that Miwa has taken. Both of those players have had questions about their consistency, but if either one of them can take down Sun Ying-sha again, that will really prove something. The one thing that Chen Yi and Guai Man both have that Miwa is lacking is a win against Sun Ying-sha. If either one of them can prove that they can consistently beat or at least really challenge Sun Ying-sha, that will really put a lot of pressure on Miwa Harimoto. But given the opportunity, even if they do beat Sun Ying-sha or Wang Manyu, I think it would be important for them to pick up a win against Miwa as well. Chen Yi and Guai Man haven't played historically very well against Miwa, and if they want to be the next generation of Chinese players, they need to be able to beat her. In terms of Guai Man and Chen Yi, I think they are pretty close in terms of who could be the better prospect, so I think this tournament could determine a lot. I mean, last time Chen Yi had a great run and saw a lot of success, so if she could replicate that now, that really puts more pressure on Guai Man. And vice versa, I mean, Guai Man just made it to the finals of Champion Chongqing, so it kind of feels like if Chen Yi doesn't do well, she's sort of falling behind. But there's another young piece in all of this that's sort of an interesting factor. That person is Satsuki Odo. In a major tournament this year, Satsuki Odo's only real great results have been her win against Wang Manyu and her win against Chen Yi, but those wins were so good that I feel like they are very convincing. You also have to remember she didn't really get an opportunity to play in the World Championships or to play in the World Cup, so she hasn't had as much time to prove herself after those wins. But in the tournaments she has played, the Star Contenders and the Contenders, she has looked incredible. The past few months, she was borderline unstoppable against anyone not named Miwa Harimoto. And so, whether or not Satsuki Odo can seriously break out in this tournament is going to be a big question. If she can take a win against Guai Man or Chen Yi, I think it really moves her into that group of players that are the future. If she can take a win against Sun Ying-sha or Wang Manyu, again, that might position her even higher than Chen Yi or Guai Man. All of this to say about the younger players, but there are still older players who are just as hungry for a win. I mean, obviously Zhu Ling will be looking to go back-to-back after winning last year, which will really make her career over the past 6 months of this year be absolutely incredible. I mean, she took the Champions and Star Contender title in Doha at the beginning of the year and has made finals runs in the Contender and Star Contender that happened earlier this month and pushed both of those players to Game 7. Looking at Zhu Ling, I think this tournament is not only important for the world rankings, but just for the reality. Miwa was just recently the world number 3, but Zhu Ling was the world number 3 before that, and who the third best player in the world right now is still sort of up for debate. I mean, you can even say Shen Jingtong, who we'll get to in a second, but Zhu Ling has put herself in a position where she could be considered the third best player in the world, but I think a win here, depending on how Miwa plays, almost certainly will cement that. Now, moving on to Shen Jingtong and Wang Yidi, it's sort of imperative that they play well here. Now, don't get me wrong, they're not going to get, taken off the team if they don't play well, but they need to get some good results. Chen Yi and Guai Man have been looking to take over their positions, and honestly, they haven't done a great job at defending them lately. Shen Jingtong's last really good win was against Miwa in January, and Wang Yidi has been struggling pretty much all year. Honestly, in terms of who can beat who, it sort of seems like it's already shifted. Like in a match where Guai Man or Chen Yi are playing Wang Yidi or Shen Jingtong, I feel like Guai Man or Chen Yi are always going to be the favorite. And I mean, we haven't seen Shen Jingtong since her kind of collapse at the World Cup, so who knows what she's going to play like now. I mean, losing a set 0-11 is a bad sign for anybody, especially an aging player, but hopefully Shen Jingtong can pull herself together and get good results in this tournament. Over the course of the next year, I think it's really up to Shen Jingtong and Wang Yidi to try and secure their positions. Chen Yi and Guai Man are honestly just not slowing down for them. You even saw this shift in the World Team Championships when Guai Man played over Wang Yidi for almost every match. But they're not the only established players looking to defend their position, because there's also Hina Hayata. Hina Hayata is in sort of a strange position, but she's honestly been playing very well this year. She picked up an impressive win against Guai Man earlier this year and has just beaten Miwa and Jiuling a couple of days ago in a star contender. Now, that is a little bit of momentum, but whether or not that translates into tangible results in this event is kind of hard to say. Obviously, in terms of competing for a title, Hina Hayata is in a tough position. 0-19 against Sun Yingxia. I mean, that doesn't sound great, but you never know. I think in sort of a similar position is Sabina Winter, where it's hard to say she can really beat the top players, but she can challenge pretty much anyone outside of them. There's also Honoka Hashimoto, who I think honestly when it comes down to it has a pretty good chance against Wang Manyu given her play at the World Cup. She also can pretty reliably beat Guai Man, which if she's able to do that, will be really important for her run. Now there is also Xin Yubin, who I feel like has been just outside of the Miwa, Chen Yi, Guai Man kind of conversations. Thankfully for her though, I feel like she's had a really good 2026. She's had great wins against Zhu Yuling and Shen Jingtong, and a great fight against Wang Manyu and Wang Yidi. I think in general, she just looks like she's playing at a higher level than she did last year when she was sort of in a slump. I think if there is a time to really show what she's made of, this would be it. To me, I feel like it's important for Xin Yubin to get wins that put her into the category of player like Miwa or Guai Man or Chen Yi, because any one of those players are on the verge of like really breaking through, and I don't think Xin Yubin can afford to be outside of that group when that happens. Another young player who I think almost definitely needs to get good results here is Hana Goda. Obviously her games against Chen Meng and Sun Yingxia have been incredible. She's put up incredible fights and it's crazy how close they've all been, but when she plays anyone else, it's just not the same level of play. The consistency for Hana Goda just isn't there right now, and she needs to be able to apply herself to be able to break into the top tier of young talent. In terms of someone who could have a breakout performance, you could also look at Xinyu Xuan. I mean, she hasn't had incredible results, but there definitely is an opportunity for her if Wang Yidi and Shen Jingtong are sort of declining. In general, I think that covers almost all of the major storylines, but I do want to go over the American players in this tournament. So, obviously you have Lily Zhang, but I feel like at this point, she's not really the main person the US would count on to play super well during this tournament. I feel like a lot more of that falls on Sally Moyland and Amy Wong. I feel like Sally Moyland has sort of gone under the radar as a pretty good player. She played phenomenally in the World Team Championships, and she almost got the US into the quarterfinals, which would have been a big deal. Either way, outside of that tournament, she also played really well against Sabina Winter in the Singapore Smash. I mean, to even qualify for the Singapore Smash, she had to play well. So I'm not saying she's going to go on a crazy run or anything, but she's definitely a strong player, and she could pick up a couple pretty good wins. Amy Wong is also kind of a weird story because she could be really good. I mean, she won the Pan American Cup this year, and her match against Bruno Takahashi was just incredible. The biggest thing for Amy Wong has been that she was attending college, so she wasn't really focused on table tennis. I mean, I remember seeing that she practiced like 1 day a week, so she hadn't been really getting great results. But to think that she won the Pan American Cup while practicing 1 day a week, it kind of makes you think what she can do now. She recently just graduated, and from what I understand, she's going to be taking more time from now until the Olympics to focus on table tennis. I genuinely believe if she locks in, she can be like a top 20 player in the world. I don't know if it'll be this tournament specifically, but I would be surprised if we didn't see some sort of Amy Wong breakout performance in the near future. I think that's just about it for the women's side, so I'm going to go into the men's side now. Now, at the top, obviously, Wang Chuqin looking to defend his title. But honestly, I think there might be a more relieving result for Wang Chuqin than winning. You look at the future of this Chinese team with Lin Shidong and Wen Rebo and Shang Peng and a couple of other guys, and you don't see a lot of consistency. And one tournament isn't going to change that, but if they can pull off something maybe a little bit spectacular in this event, the tides will start to shift. And I think that almost is more of a relief to Wang Chuqin than winning. As it stands right now, he is the guy for Team China. He sort of has to win everything because there's no one who can reliably back him up. I mean, maybe the grand return of Lian Jinkun is coming, but realistically, there's not really too many people to back him up. Even though Wennerbo had a great win in Champions Chongqing, he hasn't played super well recently, and he's been out pretty early in the minor tournaments he's played. Lin Shidong, same thing. I mean, he went out in the round of 32 in the last Star Contender. I think of that whole group, Lin Shidong needs to do something here. I mean, he just straight up hasn't been playing well recently. He had an okay win in the World Team Championships, but I mean, he needs to get it together, clearly. It's going to take a lot more than just this, though. They need consistency, and they have not had that at all. Looking outside of China, there's still a lot of competition. I mean, just looking to Tomokazu Harimoto, he had his loss to Chu Chin last year, and then he sort of got his revenge in the WTT finals, so maybe he's really a contender here. Maybe he could pick up another win against Chu Chin. Rules is another guy who's super competitive, who could obviously take the title here. From what I understand, he was injured in the World Team Championships, but I don't think that should impact him now too much. Either way, I don't think it impacts his ability to take a title here too much at all. There's also Felix Lebrun, who is definitely looking to get his revenge on Wang Chuqin here, where he had his best game ever against him. Down to the decider, 11-9, it was pushing Wang Chuqin to his absolute limits. Felix has done that a couple times since, but he's looking for a win. I think because he's sort of a younger player, it's hard to cement him in the category of the top 5 in the world kind of thing, but if he gets a win against Wang Chuqin, I think it's almost undeniable. I mean, he's gone 0-8 so far, but it doesn't feel out of reach. Another player who it doesn't feel out of reach for is Sora Matsushima. I mean, you look at Sora and Chuqin's recent history, and it's like a super close game in the WTT finals, a win against Chuqin in Chongqing, and then a 3-2 lead in games against Chuqin at the World Cup, which he eventually lost, but I mean, still. With Sora, it's just another question of consistency and whether he can stay mentally consistent. You saw this in the World Team Championships just recently when he blew a game against Wang Chuqin in what was a very winnable match. If Sora can find that mental consistency, he could just legitimately become the best in the world pretty quickly, but if he can find that consistency is a big if. Worth talking about as well is Lin Renru, who's been having sort of a sneaky, really good year that's gone under the radar. I mean, he got a title in Champions Doha, he went to the finals of the Singapore Smash, and he medaled in the World Cup. Not to mention, he also had great wins in the World Team Championships to lead his team to medal in that too. Like, really, Lin Renru has been back and having a great year, but people just don't talk about him as much. I could 100% see Lin Renru taking the title here, and I honestly wouldn't be super surprised. Yes, he hasn't had the most consistency in the world, but you can't deny his run this year has been really impressive. Also worth talking about is Hugo Calderano and whether he can sort of get out of whatever sort of slump he's been in. Now, Hugo's slump has been sort of weird because yes, he did go from the world number 2 to the world number 8, but he hasn't played that poorly. It's not really a matter of getting upset in a lot of tournaments. I think it's just been a while since he's been able to pick up a win against a player who's like really a top 5 talent in the sport. I mean, Hugo's not super young, it could just be genuinely a decline, but I think Hugo still has a lot left in the tank, and I think that he can get good results here to take him out of his slump. I think Alexis Lebrun is a player who's also worth talking about because it seems like he needs an event to really prove himself. I think it's hard right now to say whether Alexis is a top 10 talent in the sport. Alexis is no doubt going for that, so if he is able to pull that off, I think that would be really important for him and his progression as a player. And just touching on the French men's team for a minute here, Flavien Caton and Thibaut Paré also have a lot of potential. I think they're both still looking for real breakouts, but after Chuqin's match against Caton, I think Caton is definitely cemented as a player who could be a top 10, top 15 guy very soon. Talking about breakouts, I think Kuo Guan Hong is another person who you could sort of see having a breakout here. He's not had the best results in the world, but I think you see a lot of potential and some good wins under his belt pretty recently. There's also definitely an under-the-radar guy in Hiroto Shinizuka. Just this month, Shinizuka picked up a win against Wennerbo and Felix Lebrun. Now, he's still struggled with consistency and hasn't had great runs after those wins, but he is still a player who could definitely take down someone important even if he doesn't make it very far after that. There's also a tier of guys who I feel like are very solid, but I would be surprised if they were able to win a title here. Guys like Dong Cho, Zhang Wujin, Darko Yorgic, Shinsuke Tagami are all guys I feel like fit into this category pretty well. I think for kind of any of those guys, getting to the semifinals is a really good result, and I think that's probably where they max out for this tournament. And really the only American player who I feel like is really important to talk about is Kanak Jaw. He also, like Lily, was out in the first round last year, so hopefully he can at least make a little bit better progress this year. I mean, he's picked up great wins, he's had great wins, but as a title contender, I really don't see it. Either way, I think it's really unlikely that he goes out in the first round again, but that's just about every player and every storyline that I wanted to cover. I hope this helped you understand it a little better, it's kept you up to date, and I'm very excited to see what happens in the US Smash this year. I'm definitely going to make another video covering it once it ends, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, I think that's it. Thank you.